The famous words of Diana Ross, that brilliant Motown song that she sang way back in the early 1970s. It looks like Nigeria, well, are still waiting. Yes, do you remember Diana's hit, I'm Still Waiting? Beautiful lady, beautiful song. But fresh from that successful tour of Nigeria, it would appear that Harry and Meghan are seemingly a little bit remiss in sending over what was required, requested, and more importantly, asked for. Meghan was very quick, of course, to retaliate with that calligraphy letter, but seemingly not so quick to provide this. As ever, what are we talking about? Let me explain. Good to see you. By the way, look at this weather. Right, look at it. Now this apparently is flaming June. Yes, this is apparently what we're going to be having over here in the United Kingdom. And so far we've had, it's quite windy today, lots of rain and now there's a bit of sun coming out. Oh, you see I've spoken too soon. It's you, isn't it? You put in a spell. Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, isn't that nice, eh? Nice bit of heat suddenly coming from nowhere. A little bit of heat, in fact, coming from, well, none other than Nigeria for Meghan and Harry. Fresh from that fake tour that they decided to undertake at the expense of the Nigerian government, which, of course, the First Lady and the President were absolutely bemused about as to why were these two ex-royals stomping around the country doing a fake sort of chat and talking about her heritage and all that sort of stuff. It was all odd, there's no two ways about it. You know, nobody really knew what they were there for. The premise loosely was about the Invictus Games, but apparently Nigeria wouldn't have that sort of money. Of course, Harry and Meghan need new content, so they took along their trusted photographer, Miss and Harriman, People magazine for money, and of course a video crew in the vain hope they can sell some of the footage that they've now accrued together over that visit. But here's where it gets really tricky, and this is what always makes me laugh, if I'm really honest, about Harry and Meghan. You know, when you've had like a child and you've said, did you take that biscuit from the tin? And they go, no, no. And you know they have, but you just have to crumble it in the end, don't you? Forgive the pun, until they actually admit what they've done. Well, here's where it gets interesting, because you see, as you know, Meghan took to the stage and said, oh, many people knew she was Nigerian. Oh, no, 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 because, you know, she was fearless, beautiful, courageous, kind, you know, all the platitudes that she threw upon herself. Well, of course, failing to acknowledge the beautiful host sat next to her, or indeed responding back to anybody else in the audience. You've got to love somebody who loves themselves that much, right? Doesn't really matter what they say or do, all about them. But now, according to a very well-placed source, and as ever allegedly, Nigeria is still waiting for this. What we'd really like to do is have some of the, shall we say, documentation of this genealogy, this find, this wonderful find from Meghan and Harry about how her heritage has come to 43% Nigeria. Again, here's where it gets more confusing, because as I said to you at the time, nobody saw anything. I'm not even sure if Prince Harry's seen anything, if I'm honest. But you see, what they want to do is put it on their official website, perhaps send it round to schools, that sort of thing. You know, the fact that this beautiful woman from all the way from California is 43% Nigerian, something for the country to shout out about. Now, perhaps Meghan's a little bit busy potting jams and sticking labels on, who knows, trying to find somebody to become the CEO of course, American Riviera. But either way, so far the request for the info has fallen on deaf ears. And this is where it gets tricky, because if they want to continue with these fake royal tours, they can't just bombard through without any sort of tangible proof. Now, I could be speaking ill-advisedly, of course, and I'm sure Meghan and Harry would be willing to share that documentation like they like to, online as and when it suits them. A little bit like his visa form, you know what I'm saying? For now, it would appear that, like the check for their tax return and all that sort of stuff, perhaps it's got lost in the post. But either way, this is one battle that Nigeria is not shying away from. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.